Hey everybody, welcome back to the NC State Insider Podcast. I'm your host and lead beat writer for NC State on SI, Tucker Sennett, here joined today by my good friend, Mr. Daniel Rios. And Daniel, are you ready for this NC State Week 3 short week matchup against the Wake Forest Demon Deacons?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm expecting fireworks from one of the sides of
Okay.
in this potential matchup or in this matchup.
Okay. Well, because of the weird week, we got to push up our game day preview. Short week, not a lot of time to prepare on our end, and you can only imagine how Dave Doran feels about preparing for some of these playmakers that Wake Forest has in just 3 or 4, basically 3 days, but technically four. Um, After that Saturday win over Virginia. Um, the Wolfpack are ready. This this is a super historic rivalry. I actually learned today this is the second longest continuous rivalry in
Oh,
college
wow.
football. Goes back over 100 years. Here's some trivia for you, Dan. Can you tell me what the longest continuous rivalry in college football is?
I feel like
They play for one of the best trophies in the entire sport.
people are probably like screaming at me like, "Oh, how do you not know?" Like I
I
suck with
didn't know
like
until today.
I suck with history, especially I don't even want to give a guess.
It's Big Ten.
Big Ten. I mean, it's not Michigan, Ohio State.
No,
There's no way it's that. It's probably like Illinois and like some random like team that I'm just not thinking about.
no.
Damn it. Who is it?
It is
I cry.
the Paul Bunyan Zax Trophy, Minnesota versus Wisconsin. Run the ball.
I feel like now when you think like I was thinking some obscure team like
No,
Illinois or something like that. But now like hearing both those program names, like yeah, that makes sense. I see
they've
it now.
they've played every year since 1907, and Wake and NC State have played every year since 1910.
Oh,
Um,
Jesus.
just to give you
Uh,
some numbers, NC State leads the series 69-43, and there have been 6 ties. Snuck a few ties in there. Um,
Loki.
they've faced Wake Forest more than any opponent in the 134 years of NC State football, or I believe as it used to be called NC State A&M. Um, so these two know each other.
Yeah,
A lot of new this year in the
there's
rivalry,
new.
though.
Yeah, there
Dave
is a lots
Clawson
of new.
Dave Clawson gone. No, no more at Wake Forest. He's in an advisory role instead of head coach now. Enter Jake Dickert, a sort of, mercurial coach who left Washington State on not so great terms and worked his way back into the head coaching ranks after I think he was gone for a season. Or no, he was there last year. Um it- just kind of a weird exit. He took Wake
Yeah.
Forest. I'm not sure why. He took over at Washington State because the old coach didn't want to. He did there's something about COVID. It was weird. Anyway, a lot going on with Dickert. Seems like he's committed to Wake Forest. He's going to be here for the long run. I don't think they would have hired him if they were worried about a guy kind of pumping and jumping. Um, because Clausen was there for 11 seasons. So they're when they commit to a coach, they commit to a coach. And the guy before Clausen was there for 13 seasons. So they Wake Forest doesn't know very much about the coaching carousel.
No, they do not.
Neither does
They
NC
do
State.
not. Neither,
So
yeah, these are two programs who
this is
they
going to
stick with their
be,
guys.
yeah, this is going to be Doran's second time playing a coach not named Dave Clawson at Wake Forest, which is also pretty wild. Um, so yeah, those are just familiarizing you with the rivalry if you're not super familiar. We'll do our usual format for the game day preview. We'll give you some stat projections. We'll give you some key points of emphasis in terms of what we think is going to happen in the game flow. We'll give you a score prediction. We'll give you a bold prediction, and then we'll give you a worst case scenario for the NC State angle. Um, so, Dan, why don't we start with you and your stat projections for this game?
Yeah, so we already kind of touched on it a little bit. It's a completely new staff. Dickert's first year. This program, they're the seventh highest rated, or not seventh highest rated, but seventh most transfers coming in. They have 35 new guys coming in this season. Completely took over the program. And defensively, they are led by Scotty Hazelton. He's been in previous stops at Michigan State and Kansas State. For some reason, he decided to come to Wake Forest. Don't know the motivations for that, but he did. Um, and you got some promising guys in that secondary. It's a little shaky, but they are definitely led by Nick Anderson, who last season had 122 tackles. But their front seven is definitely the better part of it. Um, Langston Hardy got 2.5 sacks last week against Western Carolina. I think they played. I think that was the name of the team. Obviously, non-con game, one FCS, one thing too big, but still, I think I mentioned it last week before the Virginia game. And if NC State were to beat Virginia, this is the game where you fully solidify yourself as that top tier of the ACC in my eyes. So just keep that in mind. I think that while this Wake Forest squad has a new vision, has new pieces, they've looked up and down in the first 2 weeks of the season. This is where NC State's able to, I think this is that statement win of like where this is one of those top tier teams in the ACC. Starting off, I think CJ Bailey crosses 300 yards again passing. Um, it just has to happen again. I think in my eyes, watching the tape, I think he looked even better against Virginia. I know he didn't pass for as many yards, but just some of the little things like anticipation, understanding coverages, his feet, it looked better. And I think that you're just going to keep seeing him stack these performances as we go on. And I think this is another big one. I don't think this Wake Forest squad can really match up well with NC State defensively, or yeah, Wake Forest defense can't really match up that well. CJ Bailey, 300 yards, at least two touchdowns. I think Smothers gets over 100 yards. I think this is going to be a big day for this offense. Um, Receiving wise, I want to keep saying that Joe Lee's gonna, kind of get that big game. He had a decent game against Virginia. On that one corner route he caught, it was actually a really nasty route that just popped into my mind. He fully shook his defender. I still don't think this is going to be the one though. I think Wesley Grimes leads the team in receiving
A little
around like
revenge game,
yeah, the
even
little
though
90.
he didn't leave on bad terms, but revenge
Yeah,
game.
it's just revenge game. He's coming back. Um, Around 90 to 100 yards. I think Bailey does such a good job spreading the ball. I don't think anyone's going to go crazy for, like 150, 200. But yeah, that's my predictions offensively. Nothing too, maybe it's crazy. I think we get 300 yards passing and at least 100 yards rushing. Like I said, this is the game that if you want to make a statement, like this is it. This is where you go score 40 some points and, put the nation, on. I mean, you got the primetime slot on Thursday. No, I mean you're competing with Thursday night football, but we know there's those college football fans that will watch no matter what. So this is the time to kind of
Dan,
you know
some of us love our multi-view, okay?
yeah, I gotta lock in on games sometimes. That's
Fair enough. It's fair enough. All right. Well, my stat projections are pretty similar to Dan's. I got Bailey going over 300, getting back on the 300 plus yards wagon. Um, my main reasoning is he came in relief last year when these guys played after um, Grayson McCall took that absolutely crazy hit that ended his college career. So that was obviously a really tough day for this NC State program. He got stretchered off the field. I'm sure a lot of you remember that. That was really scary. And from that point on, it was CJ Bailey's team, for better or for worse. And he did his best in that game. He threw for 272 yards and two touchdowns, threw an interception as a true freshman. He had gotten some game action before then because McCall had come back from an injury for that game. So, McCall was already kind of he was limited. And so Bailey came in, did his best. Smothers wasn't really in the picture yet, so the offense was figuring out what it was going to be. They ended up losing that game 34-30, but Bailey showed some promise for sure coming in as a long reliever. So I think he cracks that 300 yards mark, throws a couple touchdowns. I think Smothers, this is going to be a more balanced game from him. I think more like 85, 90 yards, gets 30 on the ground or 30 through the air, I mean, and gets in
Hmm.
the end zone again. And then I'm going back to the well with Teddy Hoffman. I think Bailey leans on him hard in this game. I think he catches four or five passes, maybe in the 50 to 60 yard mark, moves the chains a lot, and NC State has a nice offensive game. As for my points of emphasis, I think you got to learn what this Wake Forest team looks like early in the game. At least that was a really stupid way of saying that. You got to learn what the offense looks like. You've never
Yeah.
seen it before. You've seen slow mesh for 10 years in that uniform, and it's painful
Uh,
watching that quarterback wait and wait and wait and then pull the ball out. I saw it live when I was at Syracuse. It's so frustrating for a defense, and now you don't have to deal with it anymore. You're dealing with a traditional power spread scheme for the first time in a long time. And I know you haven't seen it, and it's all new players, and the coaches love to you know complain about the new rosters and learning a new team every week, and there's no film, and Wake Forest hasn't played anybody, so you can't take anything from that. But at least you don't have to prepare for slow mesh anymore. You don't, it's over. You don't have to deal with it. You kind of know what you're getting with this team in Robbie Ashford and Damon Claiborne. They're not going to be a super effective passing offense. It's going to be a lot of stuff on the ground. They're going to lean on Claiborne. They're going to lean on Ashford's mobility. So just get a feel for it early if you're this NC State defense, if you want to win this game. Containing Claiborne is basically I don't know if you can do it if you're NC State, but you cannot let him win the game for that team because he is the offense. This is a guy who had over 100 yards. I think closer to like 180 last week on 10 carries.
he had 193
Oh
on
my.
10 carries.
And three touchdowns.
He just I do like a little list before each season of just guys to look out for the draft, and he made it on that running back list. Like
Okay. This
he's
is
him. He's
this
him, quite frankly. Like he can be a top three back coming out. I'm not obviously Jeremiah Love has that crown, which is for the rest of the season. We have to see what happens. But last year he lit up NC State still 136 yards and two
yeah.
touchdowns. Like if they struggled with Jamar and Jamari Taylor, we'll see how his kind of season goes. But if Jamari Taylor was able to break off a couple runs, like Damon Claiborne is watching that film and he is smiling right now. He's excited to see what he can do. His explosiveness is just it's off the charts. And yeah, this is going to be another big test in the rushing game for this NC State defense, and it could be a bounce back game as well if they're able to contain him.
Yeah, I think with him keeping him in the middle of the field is such a
Yeah, have
key,
to.
and Trevally Price, who we had in availability yesterday, said, he kind of gave a hint that if they can't set the edges, it's going to be a long day. So that's been a major point of emphasis for this defense. And Dorn said flat out, straight up, the tackling was unacceptable in that Virginia game, especially from the linebackers. They were just pitiful throughout that game. Could not fill the gaps, did not bring anybody down, and a lot of those big runs by Taylor were the linebackers could have made the tackle. Like they were
Yeah.
there and they just
Yep.
got beat. So if that's the case again, and not to spoil it, but my worst case scenario for this game is it's a repeat, and you're on the road. It's a Thursday night. It'll probably be pretty rowdy in there. Wake Forest is still 2-0, so there's probably still a little bit of hopefulness left about this team, even though they struggled in that week one game. Um, and it is an in-state rivalry. So you can't allow him to beat you single-handedly. That's just if this NC State team wants to be competitive this year, you can't lose games to one player, and they almost did against Virginia because Jamari Taylor was the Cavalier offense for most of
Yeah,
that game.
yeah,
So that was a major point of emphasis for me. Offensively, NC State's going to need to take advantage of this weak secondary if they want to win. Um, this is a team that has a stronger front seven than its back line defense. And so far, NC State's receivers have been a pleasant surprise. They've been pretty good in terms of separation, pretty good in moving the chains. I thought they were particularly impressive in this last game at just making moves after the catch and picking up those yards. I was not expecting Terrell Anderson to sort of be a standout in that regard, but he had some nice catches and runs after catch that were nice. NC State didn't push the ball down the field quite as much as they did against ECU. I expect that to flip in this game. I think they were spooked by those big Virginia corners, and Wake does not have that. So
yeah.
I think Bailey will fire things down the field. And then I think just if they score 30 plus, this is a win. And Doran said, they want to be in the 31 point per game area every week. They've massively improved the red zone offense in week two. And I just think if they can do that again, it's going to be hard for them to lose. You can't get stunned because you're on the road early. You got to go in there and you got to start fast and not play from behind because Wake will lean on that run game. Um, so my score prediction, I got NC State moving to 3-0, 38-24 win. They get over the hump. No more one score games. No more game-winning plays from this
Yeah.
defense. They they do their job for the most part. Some explosive plays that they can't prevent, but I think they get the job done and hang on for a relatively comfortable win for the first time in 2025. Um, and then my bold prediction, Bailey 400 plus total yards in this game.
Okay. We're getting we're getting bold. That's
We're
what I
getting
like to
bold.
say.
We're getting
We're getting
bold.
bold.
And I
Uh,
kind of spoiled my worst case scenario. You can't contain Claiborne, and he beats you by himself.
there it is. There it is. So my score prediction, gonna go with the win as well, moving on to 3-0. I think
Okay.
if they win this game, our season predictions will be perfect so far. If they end up beating Wake Forest, I think we both had NC State starting off 3-0, but in the past 2 weeks, I've been a little bit low on my score predictions, and we're gonna flip that here. I think this is a game where CJ Bailey announces himself to the country. We've already seen a little bit of rumblings on Twitter and things like that of people getting excited for Bailey, but I think national television Thursday, people will be watching the game. I think this is where the NC State offense explodes fully. I don't want to go high. I'll go 41. I've been saying above 40. Initially I wanted to say 48, 49, but I don't think I'm that confident in that. I'll do 41 to 20, 17. I think this is a dominant win. 41 to 17. I think Claiborne, he gets going a little bit early, but I think as that game goes on, I think this defense will kind of settle in. I think he'll rip off a big run here or there, and it'll get a little scary in the beginning. But 41 17 is my final score prediction. Bold prediction. Let's say Sebastian Harsh gets to the quarterback 2 times.
Oh,
It's two
okay.
sacks. He's been so close these past 2 weeks, but I think this is where he fully gets the quarterback on the ground. It's a mobile QB, but I think it's gonna work out for him.
Yeah, I can see a world where they send some pressure and flush Ashford from one side to the other, and
Yeah.
he's shown that he can run into a sack from time to time, as some
Yeah.
of these mobile quarterbacks do. So certainly not super bold from you, Dan, but I think
We just gotta, hey man, he hasn't gotten one
I
yet, or
know
he's gotten a half a sack, I think that's what
half a
ESPN
sack, I
counted
think.
it as. Yeah. That's weird. PFF counted it as a sack. ESPN has it up at half a sack, so it's a
I
little
think I think Fordham got credited on the box score for the full sack. I don't. It's a
it's weird. The PFF does
mess.
it. It's so weird when I'm going from PFF to ESPN. It's whatever, but I think he finally gets two on the board. It's
Okay.
been a couple games coming.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. That is our game day preview for this NC State Wake Forest game. We recorded this before, a couple days before, and obviously it's coming out on game day. So if you're going to the game, enjoy yourself. It's an exciting rivalry. If you're watching from home, again, enjoy yourself. It's on ESPN. You can watch on national television, flip back and forth between that Thursday night football game and this game. Um, should be an exciting new chapter of this NC State Wake Forest rivalry in Winston-Salem. As always, you can follow Dan at Daniel_Rios72 for his Twitter content and a lot of great stuff. You can follow me at Senate Tucker on X or Twitter for all the updates you'll need about Wolfpack Ball. And then you can follow the website account at Wolfpack on SI on Twitter as well. And you can get more episodes of the NC State Insider podcast at the Sports Videos on SI YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button and like some of our NC State episodes because we enjoy making them. We enjoy sharing them with you. And we like to think they're pretty entertaining. So thanks for tuning in as always, and we'll see you next time.